I do see it happening. Like, I think that Team Heretics here, they've got a pretty solid chance. Of course, thing being, both of the teams have a pretty terrible win rate at both maps. You know, it's 25% versus 20%. So 25 for Team Heretics and 24, of course, Winstrike. But let's see, this time around, you know, I don't know. Once again, it's a big question mark. And I think that it could go either way. I'm going to say that Team Heretics wins this, obviously. 16-14 though. Let's keep it nice and close.
Close?
Yeah.
No overtime again, you're saying?
No overtime. No overtime.
All right, well, let's see. First, we'll have a knife round to decide who will start on either side. Currently, I'm also favoring Heretics, also due to them having two very capable operators, which would give you a little bit more benefit on the CT side here on Overpass. From Winstrike, of course, we have a Lion being relatively strong, but not really showing up too much today. And also possibly, maybe then also Lecky to help him out with the AWP. But that real double AWP, two fluent players on towards that weapon, I don't really see all that much from the CIS team. And thus I would favor Heretics going now also towards that CT side to start.
Obviously, I think CT side is the more logical one there, and that is also the side that just kind of well, gives them a bit more lay of the land. You know, it's the one that's better for them, that's more aligned with them, and Winstrike that really prefer that C side. Of course, you could look at it like one way, you know, it could be that they just think, oh, well, you know, it doesn't matter that we lost the knife, now we get the T side anyway, so it's not a problem for us. But we'll have to see, really. It all depends on the performance of the teams today. I think that, well, I could just as easily kind of see Heretics choke it out here, but Winstrike has just as much choke potential. It's hard to predict, honestly.
Well, let's see. I do believe I just spotted a P250 in the hands of a Lion once more. The raid boss usually for Winstrike on their pistol rounds, and of course with the long angles to be possibly contested here on Overpass. It's a very logical choice. Kyoshima will be tagged up by him as he does contest that party area. A lot of long pressure as well from Heretics going on an aggressive push. But we're waiting for Winstrike to fake out around that area and go for that monster play. 4 players already standing by, the bomb relatively close as well, as now the smoke and other utility will fly in soon, trying to possibly take down Nivera.
And who knows, Nivera might just be the player that you have to take out, because if there's someone that can hold a site, it's definitely him. We'll see in a moment now. Nivera starts off well, goes for the second frag too. Third, no, not a clean one-tap in there, but it is a better start for Heretics now. They have the one-man advantage. Eventually, it is evened out a little bit as Charism does manage to frag Lucky. Eximus comes in via Monster though. Goes for the first frag, but not a second just yet. Comes in later, although it's Maka, his teammate, helping out. Eximus running out of bullets there is going to have to push up. Maka gets the frag and they can go for the defuse.
It took a little while, but at least it will be Heretics winning this pistol and winning the first round of this map. And Winstrike, they seem to be strong.
Yeah.
Like, they also got some decent positions. The problem is they really didn't challenge Nivera all that well. Really got 1v1 with a little bit of contention from the second player. Then went for another 1v1. Then, unfortunately for him, he already lost too much health and went for yet another 1v1 and lost it out after also not really having too much ammo in his pistol anyway.
I think that's the kind of the risk. If you're going to face off against Nivera, you don't want to do that in a 1v1. You know, you want to do that in a more controlled environment, a 2v1 or a 3v1 even. Just make sure that you can get him out of the equation rather swiftly instead of just, well, having to take the risk of him being there because he's such a strong player. He has such strong aim. So you don't want to risk him still being in play and him making your push onto the side a lot more challenging than it has to be.
We see Kyoshima standing by with the MP9, hoping to get a swift kill, but due to the bomb plant coming through for Winstrike on that B side in previous round, they have done a pretty decent force buy. Better weapons, I dare to say, than some of the players on the Heretic side. Of course, there being a 1 AK, 2 Galils, and also a Scout, together with a Tech 9 for Lackey. He will have some utility to throw out soon, as there is now a little bit of counter util coming in from that Heretic side. Throwing in, I believe, also a smoke right now, even to delay more, but Bondik, he's on the hunt with that Galil, looking for the first player to be found. He'll be headshotted, I believe, through the wall, so that won't deal all too much damage. And he's now looking to see what he can do next, as we do see the spray to calm down Kiyoshima. Leading a decent tag, will pop flash himself in, and that will mean one player very close by. Nivera with the refrag. He's now under pressure, will be flashed as well. Nickelback moving up with his teammate, will be body blocked. It's going to be Bondik with a follow-up. And Winstrike will have side control, it seems. The line also with the frag on towards XMS. Lucky has to do it here with the MP9. Will be a little bit too late. The player done with the plan, meaning that he can fight again. But with Maka his support, he will be covered off around that bridge area. 2-on-2, Maka will fall. It's going to be Bondik with his second of the round, leaving only Lucky with his USP in hand, as he already expended all his bullets from the MP9 and decided not to reload. Will now tap the bomb, will try to stick it, but Bondik with an easy spray brings it back to a 1-1 scoreline.
It was an okay attempt there, but I think it is the lack of bullets in his MP9 that kind of, well, did him in there, I should say. At the end of the day, also a good sight hold from Winstrike there, or a good after-plant hold. And with that, that is the first round for them. Already off to a contentious start. 1 round versus 1 round on either side. Odds are also looking quite similar, you know, that Vi.GD. 1.92 for Heretics and 1.79 for Winstrike. Both teams are looking tempting, alluring.
Well, let's see what they can bring to the table as...
You're saying it's going to be over 25 rounds. I think that's a solid...
I think just looking at how close it has been so far, there is a very big chance that we'll at least see 26 rounds to come in. Kiyoshima now going on the aggressive, of course, a force buy to come in from Heretics. And Maka saving money for that EWP later. I'm not really sure. Kiyoshima going for that jump doesn't really help him out too well. Nivera's under pressure. Molly's all around him, has thrown in the smoke himself. Will be under pressure, will be smoke banked as well. But luckily, Maka is there with the USP. Gets 1 kill. XMS also with the follow-up as the flank came in really well timed as well. Still a player there contesting, and look at the HP on the side of Winstrike. 1 player falls. It's going to be Bondik and Nickelback to go down, leaving the bomb in the hands of Nivera. Standing by with that Deagle, and his teammate Lucky, full HP, picks up an AK, and that means we're now in a 1v2 situation. Lucky is possibly in trouble as he tries to move in. We have to try to single out his opponents, but Lucky with a clean kill to come in. And once more, that round going in favor of Heretics, getting that lead. And of course, Winstrike now doubting. Should they force? Well, I think they should, because looking at their money, there's not really much they can do. And an eco wouldn't really help them going in towards the next round either.
And it looks like they're listening to you, by the way. I can see their reserves deplete. You can see how they are putting in that investment, or well, that force, and how that way they are just going to make the best out of it. Whereas Heretics now can start comfortably, if they do have a decent round here, start building up some funds, because they do need it. So far, they've got the AKs that they, well, nabbed from the previous round, and they've got the M4s, of course, but utility... still a bit lackluster. It isn't what it should be. And a FAMAS in the hands of Kiyoshima, he does seem to be the player that ends up with the FAMAS quite often, though.
Indeed. We just see him biding his time. 8 split to come in by Winstrike. You would assume, looking at his position, going towards long. It's just a little bit of a waiting game. Utility, not too great on the Winstrike side. You only see 1 set on towards Lackey, and that won't really help the Winstrike side. As of course, Kristen is also a glass cannon deagle, something normally seen in an eco. But of course, them trying to force in whatever they can, trying to drop for, of course, the raid bosses. That will work out. Kristen, interestingly enough, the player without a weapon, however, as he's usually one of the stronger players on the Winstrike side. Now throwing some utility in, or at least the utility they have. The push will come towards that A side. Counter flashes will be there. XMS first frag will try to hold an angle from this front position. Will get a second. Will try to go for a third. It's going to be Lucky helping him out. And Maka also coming in clutch. It's going to be only 1 player left standing. Bondik falling back a little bit, hoping to single players out. But there's too many peeking and too many bullets flying straight in towards his face. A 3-1 score for Heretics. And they're now coming back into it. They're just finding their groove. And we're now seeing a full eco to come in from Winstrike, meaning they will be most likely losing yet another round.
Heretics starting to feel the vibe a little bit again. XMS hold here being highlighted once more, along with the rest of his team. He gets the second frag there, doesn't manage to get the third, but eventually, when he goes to hunt, he did, I believe, get the third frag, or it was one of his teammates. End result being that the Heretics got the third round there, and indeed, as you put it, getting a bit back into the groove. Now we'll see if they can keep that groove going, keep that booty shaking, I guess would be a good way to put it as well, and see if they can keep that up. Heretics should have a solid chance, especially now against an eco, but the question is, are they going to preserve that momentum? Are they going to keep that going? Or are they going to be set back again the moment Windstrike manages to get a somewhat decent buy again?
Well, right now we do actually see pretty decent odds coming in for the side of both Heretics and Windstrike on Vi.gg. Actually, not really being too certain that Windstrike will be able to lose it that quickly. Of course, they are unfavored. Looking at the win rate, looking at Heretics' placements on the HLTV ranking, and of course now also the streak that the CT side is putting down. Not really shy of using any utility, trying to slow down this round as well. Of course, just playing against Glocks, you don't want to have that risk of losing it. When the one deagle might still really hurt you if you do mess up in the end. And indeed, a Lion will get one frag, another frag possibly towards XMS. He is low, but he will get a triple, a quad kill as well.
XMS.
Or actually an ace.
It's an ace?
He's got all of them, and that means now we have a 4-1 for Heretics. And, well, we should have gone for that ace, Batman. It would have been great.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this.
Well,
especially just standing here on the side.
Here
I
we
would
see
have
it
expected
again.
Maka to at least get a kill a little bit earlier as well, but just a spray down from XMS being contested, going low and still going for such an aggressive fight. He could have gone either way, or at least he could have actually gone down. Not either way, because I would have assumed Windstrike would still lose with those Glocks. At least it became a little bit more close, but now we do see a buy. Looking at his utility, possibly a quick push towards that B side. But they're just waiting. They don't have too much, and they don't want to throw it all away. They don't want to waste it. They want to use it as appropriately as they can.
And that's how they should approach it. By the way, of course, the ace there was on an eco, so it counts.
It's all for your stats, man, as we do see Kristen moving up with that flashbang, players being put out of position, but they're very unlucky. Getting first 2 frags in for their team. Utility being expanded, of course, to slow down the rest of the side of Windstrike. Good wallbang to come in, but Kiyoshima will overstay his welcome. And now we have a 4-on-3. 2 players being low, 1 on either side. But we do see the first punches going the way of Heretics, and there might be a KO in this round to follow soon as well.
Heretics so far having done a decent job, but Bondic turns it around. Lucky was not looking in the right way there at all. Now Ivera comes in there, but he goes down too. How are you throwing this away, Heretics? Windstrike shouldn't be able to get this round, but it is starting to look like they do. Of course, XMS is coming in here, and, well, we've clearly seen if there's anyone who has to get the frags, get the kills, then it could be XMS. He starts off well. Bondic taken out. Maka coming in back now, and he can actually take Alien out of the equation. With that, it's a 1v1 situation now. Lackey with the lower HP. Only has to get 1 shot, I believe, from that M4, or maybe 2. And, oh, how can you... This is a pretty standard angle. He should have checked that.
He expected the player to still be a little bit behind the side as he played there before, but unfortunately, Lackey had moved in the right moment in time. Where Maka was actually just a little bit blindsided. Now we have that 4-on-2, but as you said, indeed, a big throw to come in from Heretics. Having those 2 opening kills, a 5-on-3, and losing it in the end. My biggest concern there, first Kiyoshima overstaying, that could have happened. Just a small bang. That's a risk, but unfortunately it worked out for Windstrike if we look from Heretics, their perspective. And then Lucky, actually looking towards short, where there is a smoke, where one of his teammates should be watching. And then being open for a long where they just walk through because there isn't any utility there anymore. Well, let's hope for them that they can at least bring it back because their buy isn't too great. MP9 on towards Lucky, who's been tagged down by some utility early on. But luckily they have some M4s and of course that AWP on towards Maka.
Yeah, I believe, I mean, the buy on both teams wasn't exactly the best. But oh dear, Krisen's position here could be good, although it doesn't really end up connecting to anything. There was that aggressive water peak you were talking about.
But I'm not sure why he tried to go for the wallbang. You should just go peeking in because, well, that's why you have the biggest chance, or at least the fairest chance of getting that kill. And now we have a 4-on-3 because Heretics was easily able to get those frags in, and Kiyoshima getting that double headshot. Of course, that was clean as can be, but there was also support coming in after to possibly have a refrag if that managed to come in favor of Winstrike. XMS with the first frag will look towards the side, will get a turn as well towards the Lion. Maka still has an angle towards Nickelback, and that is the round done and dusted. Heretics at least recovering quickly from that thrown away round. And of course, that will save their economy, losing, I believe, only one player. And that means Winstrike is once more back towards Nico, investing everything they even had in towards this round. And luckily XMS made it so clean, because otherwise there could have been a little bit of trouble going in favor of Winstrike.
And we'll see now, Heretics, are they going to keep this up is the grand question to be asking Winstrike. After all, they have only 2 rounds so far. Heretics can start to create a bit of a gap between the two, and then this round it's starting to look, well, it does look quite favorable for Heretics, because they are going to be facing off against, well, a pistol buyer, I suppose. No, it's also in part just an eco. Only the players who really have the funds to spare being able to buy a deagle. Crizzen pushing in now, slowly, is looking towards barrels, but he gets fragged by Kiyoshima. Does not stand a chance, did not even manage to land a shot because he did decide to push through that smoke. That might not be the best, well, decision he has made so far.
Well, at least he tried something, of course, wanting to possibly open up the score for his team. But with those deagles and, of course, those Glocks in hand, it doesn't really work out too wondrously most of the time. Last time around on Eco, we saw Heretics actually getting an ace on towards XMS, doing what he did in the first map once more. At least recovering from a little bit of a possible after nuke dip on towards Vertigo. Well, let's see if he can just extend his well-performing manners so far. Will be pushed by the Eco in due time. Have that, incendiary go a little bit south. It's going to be lucky. The first frag XMS with a good spray down, connecting on both players. Clean headshot as well. That's another triple. Of course, 8 of his kills so far have been anti-ecos. But he's doing a great job now, being on 16 kills over to 3 deaths after just 8 rounds. That's a KPR of 2, doing what he needs to do. His rating probably through the roof already. And let's see what the rest of his team can also bring to the table. At least the lead is working well for Heretics at this moment in time. But Winstrike, we know, will eventually try to come back. And when they come back, they usually string together a bunch of rounds. Lovely smoke from the spawn towards Monster will hinder possibly a quick push from Winstrike, but they don't really care. Go even through the molly, failing to go through the smoke, as we do see Lucky the opening kill as well. Pressure set towards the back of the side, 2 kills to come in. Ifera will eventually go down after he team killed Lucky, which, well, isn't really working too well for your team.
No, never really is. You know, it's kind of toxic in a way, you could almost say.
Painful, mainly.
No, it is. Usually it is. Well, I'd hope it is accidental. Maka there with a good refrag, by the way. Does still have to kill the same player, though. Right there in the corner past Monster. And if Maka's all on his own, best thing he could probably do is save this AWP, take it with you to the next round, and do some inventive accounting to get yourself, or well, your entire team, a decent loadout.
Well, he's hoping that in the next round they can at least bring it back once more. Winstrike, you don't want to give them the room, because then the streaks start happening, and, well, that's the scary part. So far we've seen them do really well on the T side. They started a little bit on the rough side this map around. Of course, also losing that pistol, something they're not really accustomed with. But, well, maybe they can bring it back, as we're going to see. Winstrike, of course, with the better economy. Force buy to come in from Heretics. Around that AWP, I see some M4s to come in, so it's actually going to be a very decent buy. Of course, they did pretty well on the previous rounds to at least get some of their economy going.
And in the meantime, I see you banking on Team Heretics winning this map, well, and this match, logically speaking. I believe the sensible choice for now. But who knows? Heretics, of course, could still kind of start throwing it a little bit. It's not the wildest thing to happen. It's something that we've definitely seen happen. So I'm still a bit unsure. I'm not sure if I would have the audacity to actually put in that much.
Well, let's see. Flashes are coming in as well, as we do see a little bit of a, well, slow push from Winstrike, trying to sense where their opponents are currently roaming around. one of which is in toilets, actually two of which are in toilets. XMS will be supported by his teammate as the AWP will rattle a shot. There's two of them on the side of Heretics. Of course, expected to be seeing that going in towards this map. And Winstrike is setting up for that A execute. Smokes to come in, mollies, of course, as well as flashes soon to follow suit. As we still have XMS on that close angle, will be flashed out. Another flashbang will go by. XMS will fall first. We see Nickelback being smoked off by his opponents. Counter util really good. And oh my god, the bomb carrier going in solo. Chrism falling. Where is his support? Maka still standing by. Are there any flashes? No, there's none left as we do see Maka getting killed. This Lackey with a double opening kill. And the Lion will be on the side trying to recover the bomb and will be going for that plant. But the problem is there's only one more player for the side of Heretics. The plant will come in, but that is going to be a 1v3 for Lucky. And I'm not really sure he has a very good chance of winning this round as well. He's trying to fall back, but Lion is already holding the angle, expecting that fallback to come in. But then he goes off the angle, tries to go for something different, and that might actually work out, or it might actually come back to haunt him.
My man's afraid. He's afraid. But no, it's Lucky who just has to, well, take his, or well, eat his loss here. Get the hell out, and so even that doesn't succeed anymore. He gets fragged by Elian, and with that, Winstrike gets the 4th round, and slowly but surely, in this first half, they are starting to get nearer to an equalizer. And with that, things are starting to become dangerous for Team Heretics. Not only for Team Heretics, of course, but also for, well, I think both of our bets that we put in. We both kind of, logically speaking, at least banked on Team Heretics winning this on, of course, avi.gg. And the odds are still kind of, well, debatable, you know. You can see it's a 1.87 against 1.75. That's close.
Winstrike is now actually favored looking at that streak going, but of course with all those constant updates coming in. And
every 30 seconds.
Every 30 seconds it's turning back and forth. Now we do see an eco coming in from Heretics trying to hopefully get 1 or 2 kills in their favor. If that manages to work, I think they'll be quite happy, but Bombik is standing by, gets the first frag on towards Maka. And that means that now we will see a little bit of a setback for Heretics. Second player going down, nothing really out of the ordinary against this cheap eco. Deagle for XMS might actually net a kill later on. We just see Lecky on low HP, he'll trade around for it. AWP tries to stay on the back. And then we will see a most likely round to come in for Winstrike. 6-5 will get close. In the next round we will see that buy, of course, come in once more from the Heretic side.
Logically, of course, that this round is going to go to Winstrike, who only have to face off against, I believe that's a Deagle and 2 USPs. Best they can hope for is maybe grabbing like 1...
Oh, that's a pre-fire and off! Nefara going to 1 HP, Lucky, and XMS will be falling. Nefara just ran away as if, well, there was nothing to get there anymore. And it's interesting, he's now gone for a little bit of a pistol upgrade, but he could have dueled out with that 1 HP and been a little bit more capable of actually doing some damage towards his opponents. And Winstrike will win a round, will get closer as well. And I'm curious to see what the round of Heretics will entail buy-wise. You know, of course, that 6-5 scoreline.
We'll have to see. I do believe that Heretics isn't going to be able to make the best out of it. I think it's going to be a half-decent one. They'll get their armor, they'll get their weapons, but they might have to cheap out a little bit on the utility. Nefara here, coming from that heaven position, could, well, isn't on time to actually get any frags anymore, because everyone from Winstrike has gotten the hell out of dodge. Oh, Nefara. That's a
pose you don't learn at yoga.
That's a pose I couldn't actually do, I think.
No, neither could I. It looks a little bit painful.
Yeah.
I'm not that flexible anymore. I'm getting old.
I was just going to say, I've gotten too old for those kind of things. I remember, you know, that's something my dad always tells me. Apparently when I was a kid, I managed to do one-hand push-ups. No, I cannot do that anymore, I can tell you that.
Was he holding you at your foot or something?
No, all on my own. I know, right? Like, just getting old, there's nothing good about it, is there?
You maybe have to go to the gym and make that work again, because
so
it would be a great party trick.
Going, you know?
We see a B-rush coming in from Winstrike, a lot of momentum going that way. Something of a momentum swap to possibly change the outcome of this match. Yoshima gets a first frag, gets a second with Famas once more, will be challenging the player on short and will get a bird. those mollies actually not going towards the barrels area. Of course, it's going to be a little bit hard for them to then clear out this player. We'll now have a reload to come in and then fight once more with the FAMAS, of course, from the barrels area, spotting out the Lion, and a Lion misses the shot. A 4K for Kiyoshima. Can he get the second ace of this match? No, he will be traded out by Nickelback and Lucky. Now we do see Heretics bouncing back 7-5 scoreline. I was scared for that ace with a FAMAS. That would have been a little bit painful for Winstrike.
But it would have been really fitting, you know, to be done by Kiyoshima. If there's anyone who's going to ace and it's going to be with a FAMAS, then it's going to be Kiyoshima, you know. I couldn't imagine anyone else on Heretics pulling that off.
He's being quite consistent with that weapon, of course, now hopingly bought something better, and indeed it will be that M4 working out. Double AWP for the side of Heretics. One towards B, one towards A, and let's see if an aggressive peek will actually work out. Lion also bringing one to the table. We'll try to contest mid, but Heretics just throwing in some utility, knowing that with the firepower Winstrike does have, it's a little bit of an unnecessary risk.
Well, yeah, you have to be sure to dampen that firepower. Make sure that they don't actually get a chance to potentially, well, get too close to you or even get anywhere near you. But we'll see if that has worked out. So far, it's still quite a heavy mid presence by Winstrike, but they're being denied to really push through connector. And oh, Kiyoshima, that was a nice jump there, but he gets thrown into the, well, I'd say pool, but I wish that, you know, if you have a pool, I hope that the water doesn't look like that. Nickelback gets another frag, and it's a 3v5 now. There are potential chances here, especially if XMS goes down. Ivera tagged there by nade through Monster. They should most certainly be going towards the B bomb site now.
Well, again, they're going to Vanille, being rather close towards this match so far. A little bit of unnecessary risks taken by Heretics. First, Kiyoshima jumping by. They already knew he was close by because he just spammed that door. Did a teeny tiny bit of damage. But, well, he tried to possibly go for a wallbang after, and I think with the two players being there from Winstrike, he wouldn't have really won that. Tilty going towards the B-side, pre-fire coming in from the Vera, getting one, but of course being traded out by Leku with no problem whatsoever. That means we're now having only Maka alive, still trying to contest with the AWP. I would have rather seen him save it, as now he's gone down, hasn't got anything really for the following round, you dare to say, as there will be an eco most likely to come in just prior of that last round in this first half.
We'll see what gives. There is a good chance Winstrike could be getting to the equalizer now. And if they do that, then I'm still unsure. I still wouldn't dare say what the result is going to be. I think that, you know, who knows, if Winstrike gets a bit of a good move going on, if they might actually succeed at the CT side, because it is possible. But still, I'm more inclined to ascribe the CT side a bit more to Heretics.
It's coming in towards the fountain area. Kiyoshima standing by with the Eagle, trying to get some shots in, but Nickelback will get a first. Bombik and Lion will also be standing by. A clean round so far until XFS will get one, but no more than that, as we do have an equal score going into this last round of this first half. And it's actually quite interesting to see who will be the victor so far, who will be the better side. Yes, of course, Heretics can buy in towards this round. I'm not really sure, however, how big of a buy it will be. I do see that AWP on towards the back of one of the players. I will expect some utility, but, well, will they have a lot of utility? No, not a full buy for anyone. No diffuse kits whatsoever, so they really need to stop Winstrike in their tracks. Can't let them go towards the side, because if that happens, they will be in a world of trouble as a Lion. She walks in towards the fire, because he just got a little bit cold, man.
I mean, it is starting to get a bit more chilly, you know? Also, very fitting that this map is, of course, also in Germany, just like we are casting from Germany.
Oh, ja, wunderbar.
Ja, wirklich wunderbar. But anyway, what might also be wunderbar is if Winstrike gets the advantage over Heretics here. Now, if they finish out this first half with a one-round advantage, if they keep it going, if they can actually continue that. But it's still so peculiar. You'd almost say that Heretics is almost throwing in a way. Right now, it's all going to depend on that last round in this first half to set the pace and the momentum for the next, well, the next half. It starts off well. Nivera gets the frag on Curzon. Kiyoshima goes for a second one. Nickelback does throw something back, goes for the second.
Yeah, but the problem is Kiyoshima was mollied out of barrels and still manages to come back. The bomb plant will be faked, will now have to come in as there
Oh,
will be a
Lucky.
flank coming in, but why is Bondik planting in the open? Lucky will get a wall bang, or at least smoke wall bang in there, as now Maka will lose his chance to get the shot on towards the Lion. Luckily, Lucky is there, and we do see the refrag coming in. Nickelback getting one in return, will still be low, and XMS in the flank will make it a good half for Heretics, but it should have been way better. XMS with 18 frags so far, 8-7 lead, but the problem is, where was the pressure? Where was the streak going in on towards the CT side? They just gave so much room to Winstrike and made quite a few silly mistakes. Hopefully they can fix that going in towards the T side because, well, we actually predicted together with Maniac that Heretics would be the winner. But Winstrike is actually seemingly relatively strong at this moment in time. Once more, this plant, why not go behind those sandbags just a little bit further? You at least have some cover.
Questions we might never know the answer to. Point being, though, Heretics here, see, they should have performed better. Heretics should be a lot better on their CT side. Of course, both of these teams, they aren't really that good at overpass, has to be said. You know, 25% win rate for Heretics, 20% win rate for Winstrike. So both of these teams aren't really winning, not even the team with win in its name. But Heretics so far, now getting into the second half, and it's really going to get down to this pistol as well. If Winstrike gets this pistol, then maybe, just maybe, it could be a sign of things to come.
Well, so far, Winstrike, their pistol rounds have been strong, but they've lost the last two that have come in. Line out with a clean kill on towards Maka. That means we now see a little bit of a confusion coming down from Heretics. Will we go to A? Will we go to B? Well, it seems like they're trying to commit towards that A side, but look at the rotate coming in. A big gamble from Winstrike, and they're already using their utility. A third player to join them on towards this side. A nade also in the hands of Nickelback might actually be huge later on, because, for instance, Lucky doesn't have armor. Now there will be a nade flying on towards that player. But Kiyoshima will take the brunt of the damage. Push to come in. 4 players against 3 effectively. And a 4th player to come in soon from the Winstrike side. Nickelback with the first frag will be traded out, you dare to say. But Bondik is there for a double of his own. A Lion with his double knife.
The knife!
Oh, so sad. It's going to be Bondik stealing it away. But of course, XMS was already flying away with some great strafing. 8-8. Winstrike will win another pistol round. But will they be able to follow up as well? Heretics didn't get that bomb plant down, so they don't really have the funds to go for AKs. And they might be considering on a save. We have, of course, that increased loss bonus, as we do see a P90 coming down right there from one of the Winstrike players. It's going to be Kristen to maybe go a little bit wild.
P90 rush. Let's go. I always find that an interesting decision. At the end of the day, the P90 is also a serious investment for an SMG. I believe 2,350 is the
I
cost
do
of
believe
that
it
one.
is, and of course you don't get that SMG kill bonus like you normally get. You only get 300 per kill. As you do see a Lion standing by, of course the M4 working a little bit better on long range than that P90 would. As you're being attacked by a little fly that just gave me a kiss as well. The Lion with 1 kill will be traded out by Maka. Push coming in. Bondik, of course, also having a M4 will get a double, possibly a triple with a USP, but he knows he's incredibly low. 8 HP left on his clock as he now has to fall back. We also see a good damage to come down from the Vera on towards Lackey. Damage being dealt, but the problem is not enough kills to really hurt Winstrike. And now Winstrike even has the lead going in towards this second half. Of course, now we do see the buy coming out. AK's in the hands of Heretics. But I'm afraid there won't be an AWP to play with. And that might actually mean that Winstrike on the long range could be the favored party.
Absolutely. Winstrike even getting closer and closer to those double digits. Now, though, it is, well, would you say somewhat of a bonus round or more of an attempted buy with the SMGs?
Well, they just have what they had before, and they're trying to make it work. Of course, hoping that maybe Heretics will opt to go for a little bit of a cheeky buy, losing the Kevlar helm instead of some utility. However, of course, knowing this buy could come in from Winstrike, they have to invest in a full Kevlar set. Lucky standing by here. Another pass player will be pushing. That will be the opening kill. Of course, Lion going so aggressive with that MP9, but it's not working out. And Heretics is looking strong. Second frag to come in from Lucky.
Okay.
Completely flash. Very good pre-fire. Another player is moving in towards underpass, and I believe they know Lucky has been tagged up and will be finished as well. Lucky with a triple kill. And it's all falling apart for Winstrike. A little bit of possibly unnecessary aggression, or at least mal-prepared. They go in 1. Then you give them a little bit of time to recover. 2.
Exactly, you know.
And then you wait, 3. It's so weird, as we do see Kristen going down as well to Kiyoshima. Of course, he has to try something. But now we do, of course, see Nickelback, the sole player remaining, trying to save that M4 armor and a little bit of utility.
I think, the thing is as well with the peeking, for example, I guess it's a case of bad follow-up, because normally the flash was there and it should have been after the flash. That would have been an immediate peek and they would have at least taken him out, and it would have stayed with only the 2 frags that he got. But that just wasn't there, and it's a bit of a shame because it just means that Heretics is throwing away rounds. Or the Winstrike is throwing away rounds.
It's just testing us if we were still awake.
Always.
Equalizing the score, Nickelback will get 1 kill at least. A teeny tiny bit of damage on towards that economy of Heretics so far, but well, will it really matter too much? He's losing his utility, and I think that's also a very good value to be destroyed by the side of Heretics. Of course, still close by to that last player, not trying to contest him any longer, because of course Heretics knows they need to build that money. They need to get something in return, as well, Winstrike, they're a little bit money struck as well. Pistol armor together with that M4 could be the case. They could also just try to go for a force, knowing that Heretics doesn't have a lot of money. Lucky standing by, and here you see it takes so much time for the players to move in. It's a
Not
one
again.
by one.
Oh, come on.
By one.
It's just, it's painful to see it happen again. I don't... It's just such a basic mistake as well.
It's so weird. Like, they use the utility, but they don't really work upon it. Especially Lecky, he peeked with that flashbang, but he didn't go in wild. If he actually pushed, he could have actually gotten the kill, because of course the player was just banking on a pre-fire corner. XMS being a little bit flustered by the player playing close. Of course, that is Nickelback now falling. Bondic will go down as well as he goes for another 1v1 fight. It's something we've highlighted time and time again. And Winstrike is, especially on this low buy rounds, really not doing too well. And chances are, of course, looking at his buy and the situation at this moment in time, they will be losing the lead towards that T side. Those French players doing really well. Cheeky boost here on the sandbags at the B short area, but, well, meanwhile, Heretics is forcing towards A, so you might want to rotate, guys, because if they're not here yet right now, they'll most likely not be coming anyway.
Yeah, and it looks like that realization has also come to the players from Winstrike as they rotate through. Go obviously via CT spawn, or well, slowly make their way to CT spawn to actually get there. But Heretics is waiting, and surprise, surprise, they're actually going to the other bomb side.
Really?
Haha.
Maybe they've said, oh, it's taking so long for us to get here. They might have a read, and then they're just trying to gamble it out. Winstrike still sitting on the side, actually now the wrong gamble, where, well, my read would have also been wrong. And now we see Nivera going for that open plant, a little bit more defendable for the side of Heretics if they do manage to fight against Winstrike. But, well, Winstrike hoping to find an exit. Maka standing by here, and most likely we'll see a head pop by soon. That's the first frag on towards Lackey. At least it's something for the side of Heretics as exit frags go. And Alliance is the last player remaining. So far, no damage dealt to the economy, meaning Heretics will have a lot of reserves going further in towards this half. Again, a French player almost out of bullets with his last bullet. He will get that last frag in. And now we do see Heretics extending their lead, 10-9. Of course, now having to face another full buy from Winstrike. Good weaponry, of course, AWP to come in play. I'm curious to see how their counter utility will work against this French oppression.
The French oppression, no less. That's
they're so strong.
Dire,
they're just putting on pressure every time.
As if it's straight from history. French oppression with a little bit of Belgian spliced in, you know, from Nivera. Well, we'll see if they can continue keeping Winstrike pushed down and actually slowly but surely start working towards a map win, and eventually, and with that, of course, the match win. Overpass being the third map that we're seeing so far, where Heretics have now finally taken the advantage back again after, well, having had it every now and then, not very decisively. but they have been able to keep it every now and then. And if it starts out well again, Nivera gets the frag, but does get eventually refragged by Lackey. Makes it 3v4 because, well, those aren't the best odds, but it's workable. It all depends on Kiyoshima here. If he gets an opening pick, he gets shot at from the bomb site itself. Smoke is being tossed out by Krizen now, whilst the molly is going towards heaven. Krizen has a little gap in the smoke, and it's a tough position to be playing in. There's going to be an engagement, and Kiyoshima does end up getting the frag.
But look at his flank. Mecha is coming from that A side, trying to move in, but of course he will be very, very late.
Wow,
So the
how
rest
did
of his team has to slow it down. They have to hold on. The smokes are dissipating. The push will come in from this watery area. Krizen and his teammate. Oh, but look at Mecha. Trigger discipline.
Knife.
Won't go for the knife because, of course, you can't shoot Redway. And now he will get a double. A 2-on-1 against Krizen, who got the refrag in the end. But it's way too late. With a knife, of course, you can't respond to the players down at the side. So it's a little bit too much of an ego play. And they don't need the $1,500.
But I do like seeing knives, you know?
It's cool, but it doesn't work out, and you want to win, especially with a match being so close as it is right now. Heretics will have that bomb exploding in their favor. Krizen still surviving, picking up that AWP from a Lion. But still, it's that 11-1 scoreline. Currently 20 rounds in, and it seems like Heretics now really has that upper hand, forcing another eco on the CT side. Here we see Maka almost giving a kiss to a Lion. Krizen really quick on that response, just a little bit too late. If he just was a millisecond faster, I think it would have still been a 2-on-2 situation. Winstrike could have still been in that round to win it.
In it to win it. Play the game. Heretics now building up their advantage. 2 rounds in, and who knows? This could be it. This could mean that they are actually going to finish this off. But still, it's close. It can be close, and it has been close in the past. So even if Winstrike might have to give off this round, obviously based on their economy, where they do have 3 nades, so we're going to see a nade spam somewhere.
But here you see a very better play from Heretics than we saw from Winstrike. They throw a molly towards that barrels area and actually peek it. They get the kill, and from that point onwards, the B side is open. Only a Lion alive with the AWP 1v4. And this is a sure round to be had by the side of Heretics. And Winstrike, well, they'll be out of luck once more. But it's just a simple improvement from what we saw from Winstrike. Winstrike, they just throw a molly towards the barrels area and hope it will be done for. Well, Kiyoshima,
that'll do.
In few rounds, actually just fell back and still had impact into the rest of the round. Heretics throw that molly. Kiyoshima himself will actually be holding that angle, will get that kill as well. There's no reason not to contest it if you have short control, and that's something on the T side we really saw lacking from Winstrike, so that's probably their biggest improvement point. But now we have that 12-9 score lead for Heretics, really working well. But they have to face another buy round. Winstrike better prepared for this round than they were in the previous. And let's see what they can do. Of course, AWP on towards the line, but should have probably saved his from the last. And he could have dropped Bombik and M4 and maybe have some armor himself as well.
Sadly, that's the little micromanagement type issue. That's the kind of things that you sadly don't see happening that often. Well, things that you see going wrong. Elian does have some more success though, opens up the round and makes things a bit tougher for Team Heretics as they lose one of their valued team
He's making some noise. The player now knows XMS is going to chase. Problem is, from the other side, he's also being contested again, being spotted out. Now they know there will be a little bit of contention, but the player in that underpass area might actually will fall indeed. Lackey will go down, but a Lion, luckily with a second frag of the round, brings it into a 4-on-3, and XMS actually tagged up as well. It's going to be that annoying situation for Heretics, having to face off against that AWP that is, of course, racking up kills left, right, and center. Now also the pressure of Heretics will go back towards the B side. Often a little bit the weaker side from Winstrike from what we've seen so far. Their crossfire is not as strong. Their utility to cancel out a push pretty much non-existent, especially in this round where they only have 1 flashbang and 1 smoke to work with. And we see Heretics sneaking in. The first damage will come out as a very good early warning. Where's the rotate coming in? 2 players being spotted out. Nickelback, luckily, with a first kill. Krizen will get one in return, but will fall soon after. Now the rotate will be there, and the Lion is ready with the AWP to bring it home. That means we will have a 12-10 scoreline. Winstrike doing something finally on their CT side. after really struggling so far. But, well, Heretics has the money. They will rebuy, and look at Maka. Even after this rebuy, he has 10k. Look at Lucky. He still has about 9,000 himself. Even if they lose another round, they won't really care too much financially. They can still buy back. They can still put the pressure on. And Winstrike might be out of luck right here.
Yes, and I believe now there's been a timeout called, I'm assuming. With
It's a tactical timeout. I think Winstrike really needs it, or possibly even Heretics.
It could still be Heretics, you know. Just to be sure, it doesn't hurt to really go over something sometimes. And if you've had a bit of a win streak, then you might want to, the moment it goes wrong, you might want to immediately bank on that moment and start to evaluate, okay, what went wrong there? Yeah, this, and that. Okay, we know that we shouldn't do that anymore, or we can at least try and counter that issue. And with that, you know, it is sensible sometimes to call in that tactical timeout. Definitely not something teams should be shy of, you know? Because I do feel sometimes that with these teams, they're pretty top-level teams, but they're not like the very best of the best, you know? These aren't, this isn't Big, for example, or Heroic, for, you know, anything like that. And I feel like you don't see timeouts being called here as often compared to...
Well, so far I'm actually amazed by how many timeouts we've seen. There hasn't been a map without an overtime, or a timeout actually being called. We've seen a few without overtime, unfortunately.
If there hadn't been a map without an overtime, I think we still wouldn't. I think we would have still been casting a game from yesterday at this point, I think.
Oh, definitely. Well, we do see Maka with only a pistol. He's forgot his weapon. This can't happen, Maka. Oh my. This is like that small, stupid mistake that might have come to haunt him. Now he has the Glock.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I have to go back. He has the AK, luckily, by Nivera dying, but is that actual luck? Such a stupid mistake. He had 10k before the round started. Now, of course, spending a little bit more, but...
Yeah, that's silly.
At this level, at this moment in towards the match, you can't let that happen. They'll try to rotate back towards the B side. Not really sure why they tried to contest against a line anyway. Because every time they go towards B, they have a player less. And B side has been working out well for them. So why not just try to go for possibly a rush? Try to contest on a weak economy from Winstrike. Of course, also lacking some utility. Now they will be setting up, trying to get some short control in, but there's already 3 players standing by from the Winstrike side. Close knit to possibly counter some flashes and be ready to put their sprays down in. Another counter smoke will fall, and that will mean that Lucky will have to wait a little bit longer. Of course, also being scared of possibly being flanked himself, setting up once more. And meanwhile, we do see utility growing smaller and smaller by the minute from the side of Winstrike, using more and more. And actually a player falling back maybe towards the A side, but the line, of course, quite easily to rotate back towards B as well. Another set of utility will be thrown out. Where is that push coming?
Late.
15 seconds. It's so late indeed. They have to really get those frags in right now. Lucky with the first frag. Maka coming in for a second possibly, but they will fall. Is Lucky actually with a double. The next best is a player standing indeed. No time. He will go down as well. And it's Winstrike actually coming back in towards the round, but really... they need to go towards B. They keep contesting the line, but they don't have the AWP. Don't really have the chance to actually go for those fights.
No, but the timing on that push as well, it's, whilst I understand it, right, it does have a certain element of surprise that you bring in, that your enemy starts doubting, that they're unsure, etc. But it's just, see, it lines you up for these kind of things. It lines you up for Lackey just getting a triple kill there without any issue. And it's just such a shame, because it could, if you'd done that push earlier, because there was definitely the time for it, if your utility had been just a bit faster or had landed in just the right spot, it could have been a good chance that they would have won that round, you know, even if they might not have like had the best equipment per se, although they had decent utility, better utility than Winstrike even. In the end, the execution is just not good enough, and hell, that might mean now that if they don't win this round, Winstrike could start gaining the advantage, because their economy now is starting to kind of be depleted.
We do see Kyoshima standing by here on B short. Maka has finally gotten that AWP for himself to put possibly a little bit more pressure in. It is going to be Winstrike. Just biding their time, still have a decent amount of utility to work with. But Nickelback, without any real reason, throws in a flashbang towards short, but actually there is a reason. They've pushed through Monster. Map control gained by the side of Winstrike, and as we do see the bump going towards B, possibly, this could be a very important position. 1 or 2, maybe 3 players going from long. And if the trigger discipline is all right from the side of Winstrike, from the player pushed up, of course, Lackey, that could be the round done and dusted. But he's actually going for an aggressive pick. No, he's going towards short. He had the best position to possibly get that 4K going, but now he will maybe have to settle for Kiyoshima. Goes in, he will fall as well to XMS, and this is going to hurt the side of Winstrike. It was a sole player on B. The rotate is in, they are going towards the side, but Kiyoshima is a gravity. Bonic with a 2-man spray on Nickelback as well. How did he turn this around? It's so weird. But Lucky is the sole member alive, and he will have to save. Again, Heretics just waiting for the end of the round and going for a push, but this one should have worked. Winstrike was just a little bit too quick on that rotate and was able to get the kills.
And with that, Winstrike achieves the equalizer now, 12-12 for the rounds. And, you know, the prediction was Team Heretics, right? Team Heretics is going to win this, but I don't think once again...
They're out of money.
They're out of money, and this was so hard fought, you know. There's no chance with how... Well, with how badly this is going now, all of a sudden, I'm not sure where this is going to go. It's so uncertain. You can see that the odds are also starting to shift against Heretics with a 2.14 on Vi.gg, whereas Winstrike is having a more comfortable 1.63.
Well, meanwhile, we see Maka actually getting the opening kill. That's the Tech 9 on towards Bombik. Maybe a little bit of over-aggression if you do consider the money situation on the side of Heretics. Would you really want to go for a solo push like that? I'm not too sure you would, and now we do see 2 AKs rather than the one they were actually able to buy on the side of Heretics to come in towards the rest of this round. Of course, Maka being low, now getting that deagle from, I believe, Nivera, who he has given that AK to, but he should probably trade it out with Kiyoshima, and indeed we will see that happen. And that means we now have 2 raid bosses on the side of Heretics with 3 pawns to work with. Possibly as bait, possibly as players with those deagles to still get some kills in. And there's a very good chance they will. It's going to be a Lion falling to Lucky. This might be the round for Heretics as they do get another tag on the player on long. Nivera coming in as a flanker as well. Pressure towards the trash can. It's going to be Kiyoshima falling as he did maybe give away his position a little bit too well, but luckily there was a molly as well from Maka getting a second kill in towards the round. Nickelback now falling away, and we do see a round coming back in towards the Frenchie side, a 13-12 lead. And Winstrike, how is your money looking at this moment in time? I'm expecting it not to look too great.
It won't look too great, no, and Heretics has the advantage now of the weapons that they can recover, which lead to them being able to now comfortably buy in the next round. You've got Lucky that is kind of hunting here, and they all want to find Nickelback. Obviously, they don't want to grant him that AK with him to the next round, but it looks like he should be able to carry that with him. The Heretics players are too far out, and they've now achieved a 13th round, which means they also have the advantage. A good outlook for them. Winstrike, who are starting to struggle a little bit again. Back on the struggle bus. And with that, perhaps a more grim outlook. But at least for us, a more positive outlook, seeing as we both, well, did bet on Vi.gg that Team Heretics was going to win this.
Indeed. And of course, if you want to really get in towards that action on Vi.gg, we are betting some money, but we're not keeping our winnings. Of course, if we're winning, we're going to give that away to community bettors as well. As Maka has a triple man boost coming in on towards the line. But if you want to get in on those freebies, you have to have an account on Vi.gg. Of course, put some money on there as well to at least show you're active. As we do see a kill come back, but it's still in favor of Heretics. 4 on 3, moving towards that A side, knowing that a line is down, and a line has been that fear factor for them. Long push to come in. One player in Toya's Lackey, most likely hearing a lot of steps going by. Will be spotted out, will be killed as well. It's a 4 on 2, and only Grissom and Nickelback alive. 1 AWP, 1 AK, and a little bit of utility. Grissom now being flashed out into Oblivion, will be pushed in as well. There will be a kill for him. Maka and XMS falling, and it's going to be Nickelback in a 1v1.
What?
He at least brings it back on towards Nivera. Does he have the bomb? Yes, it's going to be that plan possibly to come in, but he's faking. He's trying to play the smart game, but Nickelback is already rotating, now being spotted out. Nickelback gets a clutch! It's 13-13 and Winstrike bringing it back. It's Heretics throwing away another round and throwing away another lead. This should have been a round for the French side, but somehow they just try to outsmart themselves, and that's not really the way to go.
Very much in the nature of French teams, they choke when it's needed most. Sad to see happen, but it is what it is. Winstrike now equalize the rounds out themselves, and we are in a head-to-head match. It's going toe-to-toe, it's going to and fro, and it's Winstrike who have now equalized it. And clearly, also, once again, a nice little highlight of this lovely
two
boost.
Opening kills, and they still throw it away. This isn't the first time they've had a 5-on-3.
It's exceptionally bad, but it is what it is. It's a damn shame because, you know, you expect better. You hope for better. You see this and you think, okay, Heretics, right, you've got a 2-man advantage. This shouldn't be a problem, right? But then it does turn out to be a problem because, well, they try and get onto a site, and suddenly you've got Krisen there who just holds the site, you know, so well, admittedly, but also the double pick's just going disastrously wrong.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate for the side of Heretics just doing some silly stuff. They could have really destroyed the economy from Winstrike as well. If they would have won it, that would have possibly even netted them a 15th round, as Winstrike most likely would have had to force back into it. And now, of course, AWP on towards the line, who's been key so far for Winstrike. 2 MP9s and a FAMAS, but look at the damage from the nades coming in. XMS standing close by. There's some pressure on towards Short. It's lucky with the first kill. There will be a return coming in from Kiyoshima. That means that it will be possible, but Bondik now trying to contest this underpass area. Luckily for Heretics to be denied, but still it was a little bit of a crazy fight. Lion now coming in to deny the bomb carrier, but it's going to be the Pharaoh with the frag. A 3-on-2 push coming in from Monster, but now they know there's 2 players here. Why don't you go towards the A side? The bomb is now finally moving, but it took too long. Kiyoshima still in danger, will be volleying, will be falling as well. A 1v2 for the Pharaoh. The plan must come in very soon, otherwise he will be in a world of trouble. And indeed he will. It's now that 1v2 player close by, flying around as well. And now the molly to deny, but it goes in towards his own smoke. He should try to get in towards a deeper position, because from behind there will be the peek from Kristen coming in soon. Making some noise. Nivera now knows he needs to get his headshot, and he will! It's going to be the 14-13 score. Heretics getting another round in. But it should have been a 14th round the previous round already. And now, luckily, they have that lead back. Winstrike is struggling. And look at their money. They are now really struck for cash. They have to force this, because if they eco, they won't have a decent buy in the next round anyway. They are going to have to pray and hope and see. And be wary of course, their own 1-Deeks to come in.
Heretics, very good chance for them now to get this to the map and match point. If they get this one more round, then it's going to just be a little... Well, it's going to either be a waiting game to overtime, or it's just going to be a 2-round affair for Heretics. It all depends. Elian here pushed up quite close, and he might actually run into Nivera. The question is, who's going to see who first? If Nivera peeks this and he fails, then he might actually get 1D.
There's 2 players there. They're trying to push. Lackey has gone a little bit lower. There's also a lot of players coming in from Heretics. Flashbang, a little bit of a team flash, and still they're trying to struggle it out. Nivera with the first frag. The second one should come, and clean. One tap to come in, but not so clean at all. Bondik has actually taken one of those players from Heretics. We have to clear out that AK as well, as we do see that 4-on-2 situation. This could be the map and match point to come in from Heretics. Unless if these 2 little pistols will seal the deal for Winstrike, but damage to be dealt on towards Chris, and he will fall. And like he's like, oh, nope, I'm out of here. Trying to save that pistol, trying to save that armor, because well, the next round they still won't have anything. And at least he'll be able to either buy a scout, an SMG, or at least some utility.
Something at least to work with, because it is, well, without a doubt, something that Winstrike needs. Right now, they have very little to work with. They have a 2-round this disadvantage, and the problem being that, of course, with this 2-round disadvantage...
I'm going to interrupt you right here.
Yeah. Oh,
Nivera on the solo hunt for a pistol player. The one thing you don't want to give to Winstrike in the next round is a rifle.
Yeah,
it's so easy.
But Nivera as well with the low HP, that's why it's such a risk that he is the one hunting for that frag. He ends up not finding him, which is, I guess, a lucky thing for Team Heretic. But still, it's just, oh, this is these matches, these match-ups are challenging. They are questionable at times, you know, how this gets played out, how both teams make mistakes, and how this goes around. See that last one tap there?
Of course, the last booted as well, because otherwise the French players can't actually get those frags
exactly.
in. Well, what do we see buy-wise? We do see the Scout to come in for a Lion, an MP9 for Bombik, and pistols for the other players. Is there a defuse kit? No. Is there a B-Rush? Oh, yes, there is. It's going to be a party coming in from Heretics because there's only one player standing by. Nickelback dealing damage but not getting the kill. The flank is going to be very late and this plant will come in. Time will start ticking. No defuse kit will make it really hard for Windstrike, but where's that plant? It's only going down now, and Bomnik will be under pressure. He will get a kill. It's a 4-on-4, and look at the damage being down the line with another kill, and they're moving in. It's going to be Windstrike trying to come back in towards this match, trying to force overtime. It's going to be Maka going low, froze in a flashbang. He needs to win this duel against the 2 players in Monster, but the time is still ticking away. A 1 kill, a 2 kill, possibly to come in. If Heretics
the nade finish.
only a Lion alive in a 1v3. Low HP on all the players of Heretics, and Ifero will clutch it in the end. 16-13, 2-1 in maps. And finally, Heretics will take this win and deserved to actually go on in this tournament.
Absolutely, almost a nade finish at the end there, but Heretics, they are the winner of this map, the lovely map Overpass, and in the end, the match, of course, with that hard-fought battle, no overtimes for a change, I guess we could say.